5 o'clock on this Friday, guilty on all counts and ready to fight back. Good morning, everyone. I'm Raul Martinez.
I'm Latoya Edwards. Former President Donald Trump will speak later this morning on the guilty verdict in his New York hush money case. Mr. Trump is the first president in U.S. history to be convicted on felony charges. The jury found him guilty on all 34 counts of fraud and falsifying business records. Prosecutors say it was all part of a scheme to hide an alleged affair from voters before the 2016 election. After the verdict was read, the Manhattan District Attorney and Trump spoke on the decision.
The real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people, and they know what happened here, and everybody knows what happened here.
Many voices out there. The only voice that matters is the voice of the jury, and the jury has spoken.
Well, former President Trump could face prison time, home confinement, or probation. This is depending on the outcome of his sentencing hearing. That will be scheduled for July 11th. There are now a lot of questions about how this really could impact the upcoming presidential election.
His sentencing is actually 4 days before the Republican National Convention. NBC 10's Manoj Kwangwari is here with more on what we can expect. Manoj.
And although he hasn't been officially named yet by all accounts, Donald Trump will likely be the GOP nominee. Republicans in Washington were quick to react after the verdict, releasing statements defending the former president and condemning the jury's decision. But as far as whether he can legally run for the president, the Constitution lays it out clear. A candidate must be a natural-born citizen, at least 35 years old, and have lived in America for 14 years. That's it. It's also unlikely he'll go to prison because of his age and lack of criminal record. In fact, NBC News did an analysis of thousands of similar cases and found that very few people charged with this same crime received jail time. Even so, our NBC 10 legal analyst Michael Coyne says Trump will fight this.
They will, in fact, perfect their appeal. And then the case will take months and months and perhaps even years on appeal before it's ever resolved. So the significance is what the jury did today.
Well, the Biden-Harris campaign responded to the verdict in a statement, reading in part, quote, "In New York today, we saw that no one is above the law, but today's verdict does not change the fact that the American people face a simple reality. There is still only one way to keep Donald Trump out of the Oval Office: at the ballot box." When new polling out just before the verdict shows roughly 2/3 of Americans said a conviction would make no difference in their vote. Right now, we're live here in the studio. Manoj Kwangwari, NBC 10 Boston.
Okay, Manoj, thank you. Former President Donald Trump still has 3 other high-profile cases. There's the classified documents case in Florida. The trial has been delayed indefinitely until disputes about those documents are settled. Then there's the federal election interference case in Washington, D.C. No trial date has been set for that. It's pending a Supreme Court ruling whether Trump has presidential immunity. And finally, there's Trump's election interference case in Georgia. Its start date has been hung up while Trump's legal team tries to have the case tossed out, saying prosecutors failed to disclose a conflict of interest. Be sure to stay with NBC 10 Boston for continuing coverage of this historic verdict. We have everything you need to know on our website and our NBC 10 app.